Avanti, would you mind kicking off with some reflections on what is consciousness from your perspective?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. And I think this is such a fantastic topic. While I take pride in the fact that the company I have put together is called Conscious Together, the idea of the word consciousness came from the time when I was learning about consciousness from a teacher. It was a Vedantic teacher, and he started off with saying, you know how there is electricity running through everywhere in our homes, and electricity has the power to light up our bulbs and tubes and, whatever form it takes, it makes it work. And consciousness, he mentioned, was akin to electricity. It is something that everybody has, no matter who we are. It could be a sentient being, it could be a non-sentient being. But the fact that consciousness shows up in us humans, it lights our soul up because we're a part of the bigger universal consciousness. And so that is the viewpoint that I have sort of been part of. But again, this may not be entirely true. And that's why we're having this discussion. What I would like to start off saying is also that I am not any sort of authority in being able to talk about this. I feel like from my perspective, I'm an inquirer, just the way Krishnamurti says that we are inquirers, we're lay people inquiring about consciousness. And when you see consciousness in the perspective of, say, electricity, that it's omnipresent, that it's present everywhere, and what our conscience is the awareness we have inside of us on our consciousness at that one point, right? So we are carriers of consciousness, or we are emerging beings from the consciousness that is all pervading. That is how I imagine it. Like if you were to see it, I feel like we are subsets of a bigger canvas. And that is why they say that our thinking, our conditioning, our beliefs we're all still conscious together, because if one person believes and tells the other, then we are all starting to believe the same way. And that is how we become conscious together. So it depends on what story you are telling. If it's a story of hope and trust, then that is how we become more conscious. But if it's the other way, then we also affect each other. So that is sort of my pivot into consciousness from a Vedantic tradition as well, and also from how Krishnamurti speaks about it. Such a fascinating teacher. He was, I think, one of the pioneers of how mindfulness sort of came together. But he talks about the fact that we are watching our own consciousness, but it's actually, the fact is that we are consciousness itself. And so how can we watch consciousness? Because then it would mean consciousness is watching each other, watching itself. And hence the observer becomes the observed. And it's a beautiful thought. I mean, it completely blew my mind away when you see it. And again, if you look at the Big Bang Theory and these sort of olden, evolutionary theories, I think this all-pervading consciousness sort of ties into it. But again, I may not be entirely accurate. And this is why, it's like walking on eggshells, this subject of consciousness. I hope that's a start. Thank you, Lauren.